Good morning. So the four defendant states that Texas and a bunch of other states have brought to the Supreme Court filed their response to the issues that Texas brought. Basically, Texas is saying that you disenfranchised or diluted the votes of our state and many others by running elections that did not go through the proper chain of command to change the election laws. The legislatures of the states, we've been over it many times, as have a bunch of other people, so you are aware. State of Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, they all have separate issues, but the core of the case is that they did not go through the legislature of the state to amend or change their election laws. Pennsylvania is arguing that they did in 2019 regarding mail-in ballots. However, in addition to going through the legislature, they need to change their state constitution as part of that process. They began that amendment to their constitution. They did not finish it. So, they did not complete the process that would allow them to change their election laws. The Secretary of State and the governors of these four defendant states went rogue. So, these four states submitted their response to Texas's concerns, and basically, they did not even address the constitutional issue. They addressed the personal injury claim that Texas and these other states made, that their voters were disenfranchised. So these other states, typical Democrat way, is when there's an issue, they don't address the meat of the issue. They try and skirt around it and make it confusing. Fortunately, we're in front of a Supreme Court with some very bright legal minds, and they're going to see through the nonsense. So these defendant states are saying, well, yeah, we did that, but you know, your claims that it disenfranchised your voters, that's just not true. They're saying the will of the people have spoken, and that it is what it is. So they did not really even address the constitutional issue that Texas and company brought for the Supreme Court. So I don't see any way that the Supreme Court is going to dismiss this based on that. I think we're going to move forward here. We'll have some more information today about it, but that's good news. Good news for Texas, good news for those other states, good news for Trump. Now, if they do deem that these states acted outside of their constitution to run their election, the next question is, what are we going to do about it? So the Supreme Court can, they have a lot of options. The most likely of which is, I believe they're going to send it back to their state and say, okay, you need to send this back to your legislature and pick different electors. So then that leaves us at the mercy of potentially running into some neocons or some Trump-hating Republicans, and they'll get up there and just vote for Biden anyways. And the media will cover for them. So it's imperative that we are contacting these states and demanding that they recognize the voter fraud and select electors that will vote for Trump. So, Hunter Biden, of course, we all knew this prior to the election, but the mainstream media did not. Comes out yesterday that there is an active investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes. Now, the left is trying to diminish it by saying, well, it's just a tax issue. He didn't claim this form wasn't filed properly. Nonsense. That's not what it is. Investigating the taxes opens up the financials for the rest of what Hunter Biden has going on, and this is going to open the door to what Joe Biden's involvement was. Now, Joe Biden's brother is also under investigation for a healthcare facility scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, basically. But the moral, or the important part of this story, is that the media is so bad that, they covered this up for the Bidens. They covered it up. There was an active investigation, and the media would not report on it. They said all the information was claimed fraudulently through a hack and yada yada. Now this could have really swung some fence-sitting, independents or even some Democrats had the true story been told prior to the election. So once again, the media is on board with the Biden team. Biden is bought and paid for by China. I believe that to my core. It's obvious. The media ran with Russiagate based on zero evidence and anonymous sources and so on and so forth. So they ran with that story just to mess with Trump. And everybody forgets that while Trump was going through this impeachment and all these other investigations, he's having to run the country at the same time. Could you imagine the pressure and the stress on a guy like Trump, where he's trying to run the country? He's gotten more done in 3.5, 4 years than most presidents get done in 8 years. He's kept all his promises to his supporters, all while being under investigation, everybody hating him, everybody calling him a racist and a Russian agent, and you name it, they called Trump it. I'll tell you, that guy's got a strong will, that's for sure. So we'll see what comes out of this Hunter Biden thing. They'll come up with some low-level, not even a crime. It'll be some processing error, and nothing will happen with Hunter Biden or Joe Biden. So the Chuck Schumer comes out yesterday and says he had a meeting with Dianne Feinstein a little while back about her cognitive decline. She's 84 years old. I didn't know that. This is Dianne Feinstein, the one that has Chinese spies as her chauffeur. The whole Democrat Party is operative for the Chinese Communist Party. That should scare the living you-know-what out of everybody. But the Democrats don't care. They just say how great China is, and oh, you're racist or xenophobic if you say you don't like China. It's not the Chinese people, okay? This identity politics has got to stop. It's the Communist Party of China. They're trying to infiltrate our country. They've infiltrated our election. They've certainly infiltrated the Democrat Party, and I'm sure some of these high-level Republicans, they're neocons. That's all they are. They're not on the Trump team. Trump needs to get rid of one of two things needs to happen. He needs to cleanse the Republican Party of these neocons and all these Trump haters, or just start a new political party. I've been over that several times. He needs to start a media company and a new political party. Now, that's a lot for one man, especially a guy that's 74, 75 years old. But he's began the movement, and I think he needs to be the face of it to begin with, and we'll take the ball and run with it from there. So we'll have some more information from the Supreme Court later on today, what they're going to do with Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan. We won't have a decision on exactly what they're going to do today, but we'll know that whether or not the case is going to go forward. And I'm very confident that it will, based on those defendant states' response. So we got a lot going on. Hunter Biden, the media in full cover-up mode. They're letting a little bit of stuff come out now, but it's after the election, and that they did that intentionally. Anybody who still relies on the legacy media for honest information on what's going on in the world, you're just totally lost. They're lying to you. You can basically assume that anything that they're telling you is exactly what's going on. You can assume the opposite is true, especially when it comes to identity politics. All right, we'll pick it back up later today. Y'all have a good day.